Howdy folks, this morning's soap's going to be from Soap Commander Unity, and let's see if I remember right, it's apple, fig, and forgot the other one already. Cranberry, yes. Should have remembered that because that's the scent. I can pick up the apple and cranberry, but with my nose the way it is, especially this morning, I'm not sure if I'm picking up the fig. Probably a different day, I'll probably end up smelling it. Anyhow, it's in a got 6 ounces of soap in this rather large container. This is a fairly hard puck. It's pretty firm. This is the second soap that I've got from Soap Commander, and both of them. The other one was sweet tea. It smells great. I've got it whipped up here in a smooth bottom bowl that I got from a thrift store, and whipped it up with a Crown King. I think the name of this brush is Troubadour. Not real sure. I think it's if I remember right, it's like a 22 millimeter knot. And I whipped it up a wee bit on the wet side. Quite a bit of lather in there. There's plenty. And if you're wondering, I thought I would show as a comparison. And here is the atomic rocket. If you were kind of wondering about the size difference in between the two. This is a huge brush. The thing's huge. Especially when you compare it to this. That's quite a bit of difference there. In case anybody was wondering how big that brush really is. The shaver of the day, I'm going to be using the Contour 2 Gem. It's the one with the flip top. This one here, you'll notice it's got the plastic that runs full length right there on the handle, and it's got this on the back side here. And the blade of the day, to show you the box here, it's a Treet Super. It's made by Persona. And the Contour 2, which looks similar to, I mean, this is Contour 1, similar to the 2, except for the plastic does not run all the way up here because it's push button. And on the back side, very similar as it goes for, it looks like it's got metal run down the back side there. This one, the 2 I have, the Contour 2 has the nice shiny top, and this one here is more like a matte finish, if you will. I have shaved with both of these, and I don't know if there's that much of a difference, at least for me, my experience. Probably need to do them side by side to get a real good feel for if there's a difference in between the two on how they shave, as opposed to just how the blades loaded. And that one's a flip top and one's a push button. Outside that, they just, you put them in there the same way. I already put a hot towel to the face, some bloom water, and got the as it goes for post after the shave, I've got the Humphreys Witch Hazel, Lilac, Alum Block, and I've got the matching aftershave balm, which is in a 4-ounce, get 4 ounces of it. And when I ordered this, I went ahead and ordered the Take Charge version of it. So in other words, I also got the bath soap, and that smells great. This is really nice scent. Definitely picking up the cranberry. I know earlier when I was taking a whiff of it before I started the video, I could smell the apple. I'm sure it's not that it's still not in there, it's just my nose, the way it's been this week, you know. I'm doing good to smell much of anything. Feels pretty creamy. I like this little brush. It's especially I have some bowls that are smaller than the one I'm using today, and sometimes smaller knots work a lot better in the smaller bowls. Got a lot of the smaller brushes, kind of lean towards them a lot of times. Go ahead and get started with pass number 1 here. Now for me, when it comes to blade selection, these treats. I think they're coated with Teflon. I'd have to look into that some more. Sometimes it's hard for me to find that sort of information on them. But this blade's been a pretty smooth shaver for me. It's a different blade feel, different shave than like a PAL blue carbon. That's a much different shave there. My experience with the PAL blue carbon is that there's more feedback with the PAL blue carbon than there is with this Treet. To me, in my opinion, if you've shaved with some of the other Jim, Eveready, Star shavers, and thought maybe they might be a little bit too aggressive, depending on your beard type, this one here might be one to start with. It does have a little bit longer handle if anybody's interested in a longer handled one. At least in my experience right now, I don't consider this to be an aggressive shaver. It seems to be pretty smooth to me. You still feel the blade, but it's you just know that it's there. It's kind of like last week I mentioned a DE that I was going to shave with on Sunday, but earlier this week I decided just to do a test across the grain, see how it shaves, and I've changed my mind. It's too mild. Yeah, too mild for me. It would be one of those kind of razors I'd really have to work at getting what I would consider a close shave. It's too mild for me. But last night my son went to his first dance. Not only his first dance, but his first dance with a girlfriend. Not that he's had more than one, but this one here, he went with his girlfriend. So he felt like he had a need to shave. And so what I did was I went ahead and set him up with this one here. This is the one I'm talking about that is just, for me, just too mild. Now this one here came by the way of AliExpress. I think I paid $2 for it. And it's not a twist to open, it's a 3-piece razor. And like I say, it is really mild. A good one for him to shave with, so that he's, how can you say, not getting scared off with something with a lot of blade feel. Because that one there, it didn't have a whole lot of blade feel. It is pretty mild. It's a good one for somebody that's got sensitive skin, perhaps somebody new, maybe even for a lady that's a leg shaver just starting out. It's got a long handle, so that kind of helps with the reach on the legs. But it's for $2, I decided I'd give it a try. I think it's a good one for my son to start out with, since he doesn't have a whole lot. You know, he's a big 13-year-old. Yeah, the dance was only for 2 hours, so they, from what I understand, they had a good time. I know he had a good time getting ready for the dance. You know how it is. You know, he's the shave, the aftershave, what he's wearing, his hair's just right, all that sort of thing. It's kind of fun to watch him. I don't know, when it comes to the shave with this blade, how many shaves you can get with this blade. I don't push it. Haven't quite had the interest there to find out how many shaves I can get out of one of these blades. I do lean towards the thought that the longer a blade sets out after it's been used, it seems to be dull, seems to lose its edge. Don't know why it's like that. I don't know if something's collecting on the edge over time and you just don't see it, but you can feel it. At least that's been my experience, it seems like to me. If I was going to shave the whole week, you know, yeah, I would run with it, see how many shaves I can get out of a blade. But since, you know, most of these I might be shaving with once a week. So if I was to shave with another gem single edge razor, in other words, it'd be a week, and I might test it out. But since I'm usually only shaving with these once a week, I'm only looking at 52 blades a year, you know, looking at it that way. Soap smells great. It's pretty good if you know, my noses must be working. I blew my nose before I got started because I was really struggling. This is that time of the year where it's either my nose is just constantly running, like it was on Wednesday. Took medication on Tuesday, well, guess what, around 7 o'clock. And it's just an antihistamine, and it's not a high-powered one or anything like that, but it's a good 24 hours. I'm still feeling the effect from it. Me and sinus medication, I just don't get along with it. It just has such a negative effect on me. It's either makes me really groggy, kind of foggy head, or I'm good and irritable and can't sleep. Neither one of them's good. It has gotten better over the past few days, but I can still, there's certain times of the day I have a serious need for a nap. It just wears me out. It's almost like a cold, except for I don't have a cold. Just allergy stuff floating around in the air. We finally got some rain here recently, so I'm hoping that'll help things out, because we'd went quite a while without a lot of rain, and the dust was really starting to get to my nose. There is one thing, if you're starting out wet shaving, the speed at which you shave the way I have read, especially this was along the lines of somebody with sensitive skin that is prone to get ingrown hairs, is to not speed shave. In other words, go real fast at it. Take your time going through it. You'll get less irritation. I know when I first started out, it's like my whole neck would be red. Not that it was irritated, just my neck has a tendency to turn red. And of course I hadn't seen a razor in forever. Had a beard for about 20 years, 15, 20 years. My wife, we never could figure out for sure because it had been so long. No, where shaving was far and in between on the neck and upper cheeks. Against the green pass, I'm picking up some feedback. Which is pretty typical. I'll show you just in a moment something I probably should have pointed out closer to the beginning of the shave. the angle that I'm holding my razor is pretty much, see how the slope of that head is? That's pretty much how I've got it against my face. So it's just tilted up just a tiny bit, what, 5 degrees maybe? So in other words, I put the face of it to the face of the head into my face, and I just tilt it up just a little bit, just a little, not a whole lot. And I find that shaving like that with these gym razors, got a far more comfortable shave. Because the more aggressive angle you take at it, of course, you know, the more aggressive the feel is going to be. I get pretty good shaves when I shave like that. Whether it's with a Micromatic, Gem, Star, Eveready, the shave seems to turn out a whole lot better. Especially when you run the alum block across your face. I don't have that enormous amount of stinging like when I first started. I've learned a lot over time. Haven't been shaving all that long either, at least not in my opinion. Started shaving in beginning of April of 2015. I had no more. Well, I was looking at shavettes when I first started, as well as straight razors, but knew I needed to start with a DE. Felt like there was still a lot for me to learn, and which was a good thing, because believe it or not, your pre-shave routine and how you whip up your lather is going to be really important when you start to shave with a shavette or a straight razor, at least in my experience. I've had that spot right there for over a week now. It's not an ingrown hair. I think it's more just of a pimple. Alum block with rubber band. You can kind of tell it'll turn red. It's just natural. Like if you've seen some of my videos before, it'll turn red while I'm eating dinner. I'm not shaved early that morning. It just something about my neck, about like my ears, they'll turn red too. Every once in a while, it's an indication I'm not feeling well. But right about here, must have got my angle a little bit, that or the pressure. I don't get a whole lot of stinging. I've gotten a lot better with these single edge razors. I know in the beginning, yeah, my face would be screaming with the alum block, but gotten a lot better with, I guess you might say, angle and pressure technique. Humphreys Witch Hazel, Lilac. Sometimes I forget that even though I'm holding it about waist high, that you guys can't see it. But there we go. It's starting to drop in the volume level there. There's thinking here pretty soon though, because I'm in October going into November, that's probably about the time I'm going to switch over to Thayer's Witch Hazel with aloe. I think the aloe I'm going to need it this winter. My face has a tendency to get real dry during the winter, as well as the top of my head. I have tinkered or tested out this, not this particular one, but Soap Commander's aftershave balm. I have, looks very close to just a different scent. And just to test it out, and a little goes a long ways. It does not take a whole lot, at least not my estimation. It's which is not a bad thing if you're looking at making things stretch. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I already got too much in my hand. I can smell it. If you're wondering sometimes if I can smell stuff, it's not every day that I can smell it. Some days when I first open the container, I might be able to smell it for a brief moment, and then after that, my nose said I don't smell anything. I had been talking to Russell by the way of comments on YouTube about Gillette Super Speeds. I am fairly certain I have a representation of each one of those models. In other words, whether it's one with a black hand, blue tip, just a regular flare tip, the one that has the plastic knob on the end. I think I've got a representation of each one of them. And these are not necessarily collector models by any means, but I will say that it is something that I've always been interested in getting at least one. And I realized when I shaved with the Super Speed, I think it'd be the 1948 to 58 model, that I was going to really need to not only shave with that one for more than just one day, but to shave with all of them, I guess you might say within a week, to get a good idea how they rate with each other, at least in my experience. Because with me shaving with a shavette or even a straight razor, that shave feel with especially the blue one, tested it out a while back just going across the grain, it is pretty mild. In other words, it won't be one of those that it'll be one that, you know, I'll encourage my son to use. For me, it's pretty mild. So when you're used to shaving with a, I guess you might say an aggressive shave, and then you go to something that's that mild, for me, my beard type is just not for me. It doesn't take off a whole lot. But I think what I need to do is shave with them like within a week to have some good idea how they rate in aggression and how efficient they are. I know with a Super Speed, that 48 to 50 model, that one there, that was a pretty good shave. But I don't know where to fit it with the aggression. But man, I was kind of surprised on how well it felt at the end of the shave. This is running a little bit long. At any rate, Unity Soap Commander. He just released it here, just last week? 29th or the 30th, towards the end of the month. And if you're looking for this particular brush, I think Douglas still has a few of these on sale. Pretty inexpensive. It's a nice brush. Anyway, everybody, stay safe. Smooth shaves to you.